Be Blue's Big Heart. Once upon a time, in a cozy little room filled with sunshine, lived a small, old, blue toy truck named Be Blue. He wasn't shiny and new, but his paint was a comforting shade of faded blue, and his wheels, though a little wobbly, were ready for any adventure. Be Blue often sat on a high shelf, watching the world go by, sometimes feeling a tiny bit forgotten, but always ready to help. One afternoon, a little girl named Alara came into the room, her eyes wet with tears. She held her favorite doll, whose arm had sadly come undone. Alara sighed, wishing she could fix it, but the tiny pieces were too small for her fingers to hold steady. Then, Alara spotted Be Blue on the shelf. "Maybe you can help, Be Blue," she whispered. Carefully, she placed a tiny tube of glue and a few small tools into his truck bed. Be Blue felt a familiar thrill. He was on a mission. He rolled steadily across the floor, carrying his precious cargo to Alara. With Be Blue holding the tools steady, Alara was able to carefully reattach the doll's arm. "Thank you, Be Blue," she cheered, giving him a gentle pat. Be Blue felt his little toy engine purr with happiness. Helping others was his favorite thing to do. A few days later, a young boy named Rohan was working on a school project. He had a handful of tiny, delicate seeds that needed to be planted in small pots, but his hands were too big and clumsy to move them without spilling. He looked around for something to help. Rohan saw Be Blue sitting nearby. "Perfect!" he exclaimed. He carefully scooped the tiny seeds into Be Blue's truck bed. Be Blue, feeling the light weight of his new cargo, knew he had to be extra careful. He slowly and steadily rolled across the table, carrying the precious seeds to each waiting pot. Thanks to Be Blue's steady journey, Rohan successfully planted every single seed without spilling a single one. "You're the best, Be Blue," Rohan said, giving the little truck a grateful tap. Be Blue felt a warm glow spread through his old plastic wheels. Be Blue was placed on the windowsill, watching the world outside. He saw a small, lost bird fluttering near the window, looking for a safe place to rest. The bird seemed scared and unsure where to go. Rohan noticed the bird too. He found a piece of string and, using Be Blue as a steady base, tied one end of the string to a nearby branch, creating a temporary perch for the bird. Be Blue held firm, a dependable anchor for Rohan's quick thinking. The little bird eventually found its way to safety, and Be Blue watched it fly away, feeling a quiet sense of accomplishment. Even though he was small and old, Be Blue knew that a big heart and a willingness to help could make a huge difference, one small act of kindness at a time.